house won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X-Files. Welcome to The Gen X-Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
Brain Dead.
Oh, Brain.
Yeah, Brain Dead. One of the many movies named Brain Dead.
Oh, my God. Okay. I don't think either of us have seen this movie.
No.
Very surprised that I didn't see it.
Yeah, I am. Especially with your Corman connection.
With the amount of weed I smoked in college, I probably did see it, and it just slipped
Just
into
totally
the cracks.
gone. It's weird because there's no way I'm ever forgetting this movie.
No, but it's also Bill Paxton and Bill Pullman.
The two.
The best Bills.
The best Bills. And the only time they worked together.
Yeah, that's sad. They were really good
I know.
together. But, man, we really picked three very different performances.
Oh, yeah. Bill Pullman
Bill
performances?
Pullman,
Yeah. Like, it's amazing watching even just the short amount of movies, like watching his character arc, because he's so good in this movie.
Yeah, and I think he was really having fun.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's not a good movie.
No.
But it's entertaining.
It's not I don't think it's a bad movie either.
I don't. I think the main problem with the movie is the director.
Yeah.
And
it was his first feature, so I mean...
Right. But he also, I think, had a bad cinematographer.
Yes.
Because I get it. You're working for Corman. I've worked for Corman.
Yeah.
You got to cut every corner there is.
Of course.
And you're trying to jam as much dialogue and as many pages into a scene as once, so you use less film. But the framing was horrible.
Yeah.
It's like there was a magnet to the actors' faces. Everything was a close-up into close-up into close-up.
Yeah.
Occasionally, he would do the zoom out from the close-up to show what's going on, and then back into the goddamn close-up, dude. There's more than one shot.
The guy, when he gets hit by the car, both of us turned and was like, I have no idea what just happened.
Who got hit?
I don't know.
Was it guy? Was it him?
I don't know.
It was.
It was not clear at all.
No. It was. I think that's why we always try to find the core of why a film ultimately didn't do well.
Right.
And I think with this one, it 100% lies in the hands of the director and the cinematographer.
Yeah.
Because all of the Oh, sorry.
No, we will. The director we'll definitely talk about. The cinematographer was nobody. So I mean, that's probably why.
And also, to be fair, you're working for Corman, right?
Yeah.
And it's not the most creatively conducive place to be. You could be creative within a certain
but you have to
parameters,
be creative and very fast.
And under budget.
I mean, at the end of the day, the budget was only $2 million, which honestly, they definitely had all of it on screen.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was all there.
I will give the set decorator, set designer,
Catherine Hardwicke.
She did an amazing job. Props did an amazing job.
Yeah.
All those brains were creeps.
Yeah.
Costumes? Not so much.
They were definitely some dollar store.
Oh, baby. It was like it's like they just raided the David Byrne's closet from the Talking Heads tour of 1988.
They did.
Stop making sense.
Not all of them were huge, but like when they had to quote unquote change character, man, that the costume designers were like, oh, I've got like $10,000 and I have to do like 50 different costumes.
10,000?
I probably not even 10,000.
Like
$40. Yeah.
They rented suits from
mostly just bring your own clothes. Yeah.
Oh God. But it's an interesting story. Like the twists and turns, and I was guessing till the end.
Oh, no, totally.
I pretty much thought I figured it out.
I thought I did too, and then I was wrong.
And then I did. I was like, it's probably what it is. And because it just seemed like that was where it was going, and because of so many, the implications of dropping the brain at the beginning.
Yes.
That kind of set everything into motion, as it were.
Yeah.
But another like wacky, surreal, freaky performance by our buddy Bill Pullman. And that's the thing, is like, if you only know Bill Pullman from today, from like The Sinner and
or even like Independence Day.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, like you wouldn't expect this.
No, and I don't think you would expect any of these performances.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Because you got The Perfect Dummy.
Yeah.
And then you got
he's so good with his people.
Impeccable. One of the best dummy performances ever.
So convincing.
And then, this drug-fueled the freaky performance in The Serpent and the Rainbow, and then whatever the F this is, man. It's just like...
Well, he was technically a brain doctor.
Right.
Quoties, technically.
But this it had a feel, the writing, and it's funny because we spoke about this yesterday, and I was saying, man, the dialogue and the repartee between the Bills really reminded me of Hitchcock, of like Rope, you know, of that type of, hello, old chap dialogue, what are you doing? You know, it's just that kind of...
Well, it's not, I've been rewatching The Twilight Zone, which I do about once a year, and I always forget how much plot is revealed through dialogue, and not in a bad way, but it's like that conversations where it's people are going to be sitting down and talking,
right? And it's that fast talking.
Yeah, let me tell you something. We got to get it across.
Look, the robots are coming. The robots are coming to get you, and if they don't come and get you, they're going to come and get me. And now they're going to come down the road, and we got to block the road up because the robots coming down the road. That's my favorite Twilight Zone. The robots are coming down the road.
Are coming down the road. Yeah,
it's a good one. I think. I think Burgess Meredith was in that one. But it's interesting, man. It's an interesting B movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it is, and I'll tell you, man, since I worked there and I've seen most of the movies, and not just because I worked there, but I was also a fan.
Yeah,
Anybody who watched Creature Features back in the day knows who Corman is. It's one of Corman's better movies.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know?
Sure.
I mean, they have a handful of decent movies. We're going to, and honestly, all of his good movies are produced by Julie.
Oh, yes.
You know, because she wanted to be more of a filmmaker.
She was, And she was a filmmaker.
Like, let's make money.
He was like,
he was
whatever.
A showman, you know. But anyway, it was a surprise because I did not know what this movie was about.
Yeah.
With a name like Brain.
Still not entirely sure if I know what the movie's about.
I think the title also hurt it.
Yeah, I think a better title would have been better.
Because it's like Munchies or Dr. Giggles. It just had that.
It's just kind of generic
B-movie bullshit. Yeah. If they would have called it something a little bit more clever, it might have done better. I don't know. But yeah, I was just really pleasantly surprised with it.
Yeah, movie. It was good. It was fun. I mean, I had a good time with it.
And honestly, one of my favorite Bill Pullman performances, I think.
He was so good.
Yeah.
He was so good.
So good. Anyway, get into it.
All right. Take yourself back to 1990.
Yeah.
January 3rd, General Manuel Noriega is deposed as leader of Panama and surrenders to the American forces. They had invaded Panama. The United States invaded Panama, if you remember that.
I do remember that.
Yeah, there was a whole thing with Noriega, and he was no longer dictator of Panama.
Noriega had horrible acne scars.
Yes, he did.
I don't know if people remember that. That's why he was so mad.
He also had really bad breath, apparently.
Well, yeah. Because he had acne inside of his mouth.
Okay.
He would like talk and pus would spray out.
He was just gross. Like most dictators, he's just gross.
Yeah, that's why gross people become dictators because
true.
People think they're gross.
Yeah.
So you know what? Be nice to gross people.
Yeah.
Because you don't want any more dictators. There's your, the more you know. Boom, beam, ba-boom.
January 13th, Douglas Wilder becomes the first elected African-American governor as he takes office in Richmond, Virginia.
That floored me, that it took until 1990. That I was
That's insane.
Flabbergasted.
I mean, although granted, like 25 years earlier, there was the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah,
so
I mean, Jim Crow wasn't
it was
not too distant past, yeah.
But still, though, that fact always blows my mind.
I forget just how effed this country was. Not just 30, 40 years ago. I mean,
it's incredible from 1990 to now, just how much further we've gone.
Even in the 90s, it was super homophobic, super sexist.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
pretty racist.
Clinton and the whole "don't ask, don't tell" thing. I mean, like that was not beneficial to the gay people in the Middle East.
Not at all. And you know, you think of Clinton as this super progressive guy, and if you really look at his policies, he's pretty much Republican. And a pervert. But it's weird. It's just weird to me how, and it's also heartening to me. And I will have to give the country credit because we have moved really far in the last 25 years.
Fighting tooth and nail to move as progressive as possible.
Oh, they're trying to stop in its tracks, baby.
Yeah, well, it's not going to happen.
No, we're going to push through.
January 15th, telephone service in Atlanta, St. Louis, and Detroit, including 911 service, goes down for 9 hours due to an AT&T software bug.
This was huge.
Yeah.
There was no cell phones back then.
People freaked out. I mean, people freaked out.
Because there was no service.
There was no way to get help. There was no way to contact anybody for 9 hours.
Like 8 people had those giant shoebox cellular brain cancer phones, and that was it. So if you lost phone service, that was it. You were non-communicado, baby.
Right.
So it was frightening.
Yeah. Yeah, January 19th, Brain Dead is released in theaters. Yeah. Brain Dead starts with Julie Corman, the wife of Roger Corman. They would get married in 1970 when she was 28 and he was 44.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And smart as a whip. And he hit the lottery with her.
Oh, he did. And they were an amazing couple.
They really were. And usually these May Decembers, it doesn't last very long. But this one lasted forever.
Because Roger Corman almost lived to be 100.
Right. She's like, Jesus, just die already.
Julie would immediately start producing movies for Corman. Corman produced a series of night nurses films, including Night Call Nurses in 1972 and Candy Stripe Nurses in 1974.
Yeah, these were, those sexploitation softcore
it was a
movies.
Big thing in the late 60s, early 70s.
It was all women's prison and nursing movies because somehow nurses were hot.
Nurses were hot.
Okay.
And female convicts were hot, too.
Hey, they needed to do a crossover. Naughty nurses at the penitentiary.
And also lady outlaws, like in Crazy Mama in 1975, directed by Jonathan Demme, starring Cloris Leachman.
Yeah.
Of all people.
Well, yeah.
She was amazing. I love Cloris Leachman.
Cloris Leachman is one of the greatest actors ever. But she started out in The Last Picture Show.
Yeah.
With, she wasn't a huge star until... she wasn't a huge star until Mel Brooks discovered her.
Yeah.
And then, boom, out of the gate.
Her comedy is amazing.
She's great.
Also from my hometown.
Well, that's a good hometown then,
Yeah,
Adam.
it is. Moving Violation, she produced in 1976, starring Kay Lenz and Eddie Albert.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Could we make it for $80,000? Okay. Then make it!
The Lady in Red in 1979, written by John Sayles, starring Robert Conrad and Pamela Sue Martin.
Yeah, I watched that a lot as a kid because there was some pretty good nudity.
Oh, yeah.
I was a nude detective. It's gross.
You and every other male under the age of 16. Yeah.
When we were boys, when we were little prepubescent, horny little jack monsters, we couldn't just go and watch an endless amount of pornography on our little devices. We had to go into basements and find magazines and chart schedules for HBO to find out when Porky's was on and see whose dad had what. I honestly, I don't think I saw an adult movie until I was in high school. Like I didn't see it.
I was I had an older brother who was 2.5 years older, so I probably saw it a little bit before high school,
right?
Because he saw it in high school. But it was definitely something I should not have seen because it was Ron Jeremy and Tracy Lords, and I didn't know this at the time. She literally played a schoolgirl, and then Ron Jeremy was this girl. And the worst part about it was that it was just voiceover from Ron Jeremy, like commenting on everything. Like they literally had him go in after the sex scenes and do ADR of his weird thoughts.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Ron Jeremy.
It was so weird.
Let me tell you about what I'm about to do.
And the really messed up part is that she was playing a 15-year-old when she actually was.
One of my weirdest days of Hollywood was a day I spent with Ron Jeremy.
I used to run into him all the time.
Well, I ran into him at Cine Vegas when he got kicked out of this club for having sex. And we were unfortunately in the elevator with him after that incident, smelling him and his gross.
So gross.
And he's like rubbing up against me. I was getting contact herpes. It was disgusting. But years after that, randomly, and this is just the way that things work here.
Yeah.
Randomly, somebody called me up and was like, "Hey, Rod, we need to do some wild lines of recording Ron Jeremy. Could you just do it for us? We'll give you this money. He'll come to you."
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah. And I ended up waiting an entire day. It was the most frustrating thing. Oh, surprise, surprise, Ron Jeremy is not punctual or responsible. But anyway, finally, I get in his car and we go to this cul-de-sac and I'm recording him on this phone. And it was just this stupid golf.
Some animated thing.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, it's going to get your balls or something stupid.
Yeah.
And so we're in this cul-de-sac and we're parked and this woman walks by and she gives I've never seen anybody give a quadruple look before. And then he turns to me and he's like, she probably thinks we're lovers. And I was like, yeah, we're drug dealers.
Yep.
Let's just get this done.
Yeah, here we go. Can you read that line again, please?
And then we're done. He's like, do you want to hear me play the harmonica? And then he plays the harmonica and he tells jokes. And he's like, hey, what? And it's just like he didn't want to leave.
Yeah, because he was a lonely old man.
Oh, it was great.
Now he's in jail. I don't even know if he's still alive.
He is.
I think but he's in jail.
He's lost his mind and he's in jail. But yeah, he's gross. But it was just such a surreal.
That was the worst speed bump we've ever done.
Oh my God, yeah. She probably thinks we're lovers.
So Julie Corman also produced Saturday the 14th in 1981, starring Richard Benjamin, Paula Prentice, and Jeffrey Tambor.
Okay, so that was a spoof.
Yeah.
But a really bad... I saw that in the theater, actually.
Oh, really?
I was a huge Richard Benjamin fan. Don't ask me why. He's really funny.
I could not even pick him out of a lineup.
If you saw him, you know exactly who he is. He has a very distinct look. But I found Richard Benjamin extremely funny. It's not that great. But again, one of the better Corman movies and also one of the more successful. I think it actually had a theatrical release.
Yeah, I think so. She also produced Da in 1988, starring Barnard Hughes, based on the Tony Award-winning play.
Yeah, that was actually really well received.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She did some in '84. She started her own company called Trinity Pictures, with which she has produced a number of family films. Like she was trying to get, she was trying to essentially doing what Corman did, but trying different genres and different ways of making money.
She was really trying to up the quality.
Yes,
she was trying to make them a more serious entity in the film business, because Corman was always a joke, and he didn't give an F, because he was like, I have made 1,000 movies and I haven't lost $1.
Right.
If you want to know about filmmaking and independent filmmaking and how to do it, read his book.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because he's a genius. I mean, the guy was the king of the bees.
And but he always made money.
Always made money, and had an incredible eye for talent.
Yes. Oh my God, so many people.
Actors,
so many
directors, cinematographers. I mean, hell, when I was working on The Terror Within Part 2, one of the worst movies ever made, Janusz Effin Kaminski was the DP. Yeah. And he went on to win Oscars for Schindler's List.
Well, I mean, Catherine Hardwicke doing the art design for this, set design for this. She directed 13 and a bunch of other movies.
Yeah.
She directed most of the Twilight movies. Like, she has a huge career.
It's crazy. The co-host of the Gen X Files with Jim and Adam was an intern there.
Yeah. What happened to him?
Nothing.
Okay.
It's a sad, sad story.
So in the late 1980s, while Roger Corman was combining his two companies, Concord Pictures and New Horizons, into one company, Julie Corman got summer interns to go through several hundred old scripts.
Might have been me. Also, the company name that they came up with was Concord New Horizons.
Yeah, it didn't. The funny thing is that the reason that he wanted to essentially had sold the one company was because he hated distribution.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he loved production, hated distribution.
Oh, yeah.
And then he essentially sold his old company, and then, because he hated the distribution, made a bunch of money off of it, and then made a new company, and then essentially they were like, well, you're getting back into the distribution game. And he was like, God damn it.
Well, also, distribution sucked back then.
Oh, it's awful.
Because it was, you could four-wall it, you could put your own stuff up, and movies would stay in theaters for months.
Yeah.
So, movies... The reason why I hate distribution so much is because he couldn't get it into the bigs. It was relegated mostly to drive-ins or dollar theaters or this or that. So, I mean, it was an uphill battle for him with the product he was selling.
So the best script they discovered was one written by Charles Beaumont for Roger Corman in the 1960s titled Brain Dead.
Ooh.
Charles Beaumont is most well known for providing the scripts for some classic Twilight Zone episodes, writing episodes over all 5 seasons. He wrote Perchance to Dream, about a man who believes if he falls asleep, he'll die.
Great.
It's such a good episode. The Howling Man, about monks keeping the devil captive.
Oh, man. Wow.
Which I just watched. It was really good as well. Static, about a morose old man who finds a radio that plays 40s big band music that only he can hear.
Don't remember that one.
So depressing. It's just this old guy who's like, hey, my music. And everybody's like, you're insane.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. Miniature, about a man who falls in love with a living dollhouse doll.
Oh, that one's good, too.
That was great, yeah. Great twist ending. Printer's Devil, about a newspaper that discovers great success from a new editor who just happens to be the devil, played by Burgess Meredith.
And the devil.
He's so good. And Number 12 Looks Just Like You, about a dystopian future in which everyone, upon reaching adulthood, has their body surgically altered into one of a set of physically attractive models.
You know what's weird?
Yeah.
Is there's a movie releasing on Netflix called Uglies, based on a young YA novel, that's that exact same thing.
Oh, really?
As soon as these kids turn a certain age, they get cosmetic surgery so everybody's beautiful.
I rewatching again, it's been a little while, but rewatching again, there are so many things, at least 3 episodes that I was like, this definitely inspired Stephen King.
Oh, yeah.
Like the whole bit with a guy who hates technology and all his technology turns against him. There's like a great shot of a razor like sliding down the stairs. And it's like, that's Maximum Overdrive. Yeah. It's like our trucks.
It's been a while since I've seen The Zone.
You should. They're all on Paramount Plus. They look great. Yeah.
My sister and I used to, in our respective homes, we would watch. They would do the Twilight Zone marathon on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
And we would watch it and text each other, or I think call each other at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was texting. And just be like, "Oh, did you see that episode? Did you see that?"
Yeah.
She's a huge fan too. I need to rewatch it.
They actually, the main reason I started watching is because they were promoting doing a marathon like that over Labor Day.
Ooh.
And so I was like, well, I'm just going to start watching from the second season. Like, I've watched the first season so many times, but I was like, I'm just going to rewatch because a lot of them I've only seen once.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I'd love to. I need to do that.
They're good. They're so good. And they're short. They're like 25 minutes. I mean, they're so good. Except for the fourth season, which they're an hour.
Submitted for your approval.
Yes, it's so good. So Beaumont would also write some successful screenplays, some movies, like Queen of Outer Space in 1958, a sci-fi movie that's more parody than serious entry, starring Zsa Gabor, Eric Fleming, and Laurie Mitchell, which was labeled morally objectionable by censors.
Why are you saying that about me, darling? I am not mad.
I'm guessing you probably saw a little more of her cleavage than you should have, and they're like,
Yeah, those are her ankles.
He also wrote The Premature Burial in 1962, directed by Roger Corman, starring Ray Milland, Hazel Court, Alan Napier, Heather Angel, and Richard Ney, based on the short story from Edgar Allan Poe.
That's actually really good. Have you seen that?
Yeah. I know Corman did a bunch of the... he did a bunch of Poe stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think he did, 8 or 9
Yeah, because he didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah. But a lot of them were adapted by Beaumont.
Yeah.
And I've actually gone through, and almost all of Roger Corman's movies he's directed are available for free on YouTube.
Nice.
I've created a playlist. I'm going to make it public once I finish it. And
right on.
Everyone should watch all. There's only, so far, I've gone through more than half, and only 2 movies are not available.
Oh, wow.
So... Anyway.
Good work.
Yes, thanks. The Intruder in 1962, directed by Roger Corman, starring William Shatner, also known as I Hate Your Guts, also known as Shame, and also known as The Stranger, about a racist who goes to a small town and tries to start a race war, adapted from Beaumont's 1959 novel, which was based on a true story.
I hate your guts.
I watched some of this. It is so disturbing.
Is it Shatner playing the racist?
Yes.
Hey, you are an N-word.
Oh, it's so weird. Beaumont has a supporting acting role in the movie, along with a bunch of his writing colleagues.
Nice.
He also wrote The Haunted Palace in 1963, starring Vincent Price, Lon Chaney Jr., and Deborah Paget in her final film about a village held in the grip of a dead necromancer, which is also based on an Edgar Allan Poe novella. He wrote The Seven Faces of Dr. Lao in 1964, starring Tony Randall, playing the 7 different characters of Dr. Lao, and directed by George Pal in his final directorial effort.
Guilty pleasure. Doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
Because I think Tony plays...
There's a couple of things
Asian
he shouldn't be playing.
Right?
Yes. William Tuttle, the movie's makeup artist, received an honorary Academy Award for his makeup work. It was the first of only 2 honorary Oscars awarded for makeup, while the other went to John Chambers in 1968 for Planet of the Apes.
Nice.
It's an esteemed company. He also wrote The Mask of the Red Death in 1964, directed by Roger Corman again, starring Vincent Price.
Adapted.
Yeah.
Just teasing.
It was based on the short story by Edgar Allan Poe and was the 7th of 8 movies that Corman directed based on Edgar Allan Poe works. In 1963, when Beaumont was 34 and overwhelmed by numerous writing commitments, he began to suffer the effects of
a mysterious brain disease,
which seemed to age him rapidly.
Weird.
That's so weird. He was 34. His ability to speak, concentrate, and remember became erratic. While some people attributed all of this to Beaumont's heavy drinking, his friend and colleague John Tomerlin disagreed.
I was working closely with Chuck at the time, and we were good enough friends for me to know that his alcohol by itself could not possibly account for the odd mental state that he was in.
The disease also affected his work. William F. Nolan, friend of Beaumont and the writer of the 1967 Logan's Run novel, said,
He could barely sell stories, much less write. He could go unshaven to meetings with producers, which would end up in a disaster. A scriptwriter has got to be able to think on your feet, which Chuck couldn't do anymore. And so the producers would just go, We're sorry, Mr. Beaumont, but we don't like the script.
Yeah. Some thought it was the spinal meningitis he had as a kid was the cause, but his friend, Forrest J. Ackerman, thought it was a combination of Alzheimer's disease and Pick's disease.
Yeah, is that the aging disease, Pick's disease?
Progressive degeneration of the brain's frontal and temporal lobes.
Right.
So kind of. After visiting doctors at UCLA, Nolan recalls that they sent Beaumont home with a death sentence.
They said there's absolutely no treatment for this disease. It's permanent, and it's terminal. The probably live from 6 months to 3 years with it. He'll decline and get to where he can't stand up. He won't feel any pain. In fact, he won't even know what's happening.
Yeah, it's really weird because he wrote I believe it was a Twilight Zone episode or a short story where this literally happened to a character of his.
Weird.
Yeah, it's so scary.
Ooh, prophetic.
Yeah. Several fellow writers, including Nolan and friend Jerry Soule, began ghostwriting for Beaumont during 1963 and 1964 so that he could meet his many writing obligations.
Wow, that's really cool.
They were very close friends,
And I don't know if, like, the Writers Guild had, like, an insurance...
At that time, I don't know.
Mandate, for, like, so much work.
To take care of it, yeah.
It would seem like that would be helpful, too, to keep him going so he could get the insurance.
Right. This included a handful of the Twilight Zone episodes from season 4 and 5. Privately, he insisted on splitting the writing fees with his friends.
Nice guy.
By 1965, however, Beaumont was too ill to even create or sell story ideas. His last on-screen writing credit was for the 1965 film Mr. Moses, officially a screenplay written with, but more likely written by, Monja Danshevsky. It was about a con man blackmailed into persuading an entire African village into relocating for their own safety.
Weird.
Very weird.
I don't know if I like it.
On February 21st, 1967, Beaumont died in Woodland Hills at the age of 38.
That's what drove that. Reading this,
yeah,
I was like, oh, okay, it was probably in his 50s, 60s.
No.
38.
38.
That's
and
insane.
He lived with it for about 5 years.
That is your prime working time, man.
I know.
Mid-30s
well, this
to
is
40s.
why the friends were helping.
This is just heartbreaking.
It is. His son Christopher later said that his father...
He looked 95 and was in fact 95 in every calendar except for the one on your watch.
Yeah. I mean, it's just sad.
At 38, looking like you're 95 freaking years old.
That's awful. Awful.
Well, there is that disease, that aging disease.
Yeah, like progeria? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm not sure. I think so.
But it definitely wasn't that. I think it was mostly his brain, like, getting aged and degenerating, and then his body kind of responding because it was like...
It was decaying.
Yeah.
Because he probably wasn't getting the messages from the brain to the body that needed to keep the cells refreshed.
He was such a brilliant writer, and it's just so sad.
But what a horrible way to go, man. Yeah. I mean... For anybody with a modicum of intelligence, losing your mind, that's my biggest fear. Yes. I mean, I don't have much to lose, but if I lost what little I have, that's my biggest fear.
Same.
Being a burden on somebody else and then not even knowing that you're that burden.
Right. So after the interns found the screenplay for Brain Dead, it fell into the hands of Adam Simon. Adam Simon started his career with Tim Robbins at UCLA when they started the Actors Gang, along with 6 other acting students.
Oh, the Actors Gang. The Actors
Gang is all over this movie.
All over everything.
Simon has had a number of plays he co-wrote with Tim Robbins performed by the acting company. The only film credit I could find for Simon before Brain Dead was as co-producer for Lock Up in 1989, starring Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I thought that was much later.
No, and it's not. Stallone hated that movie.
Well, I didn't like it. It was a bomb. It was stupid. I was in the prison.
He actually literally blamed the producers and the director.
It's the producers and the director's fault. Definitely not my fault, because I'm great. I'm always great. So it isn't my fault. Anyway, I hate him.
So by the late 80s, Simon, like many artists that would go on to dominate Hollywood, worked for Roger Corman at Concord New Horizons.
Yes, he did. And he was a very good worker.
Yeah, he really liked the script for Brain Dead, so he updated it to modern times and set about directing his first feature film.
Nice.
So they cast Bill Pullman as Dr. Rex Martin.
Yes, and if they didn't, we wouldn't be in this month.
Yeah, that's true. Although I realized later that also, like you were saying, the conversations, the dialogue and stuff, the names are so 1960s.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he updated the names at all. But Dr. Rex Martin.
Rex Martin.
So Pullman had just come off the 1989 movie Cold Feet, co-starring Keith Carradine, Tom Waits, Sally Kirkland, and Rip Torn, with a cameo from Jeff Bridges.
I need to see this movie. If I haven't, because I love Tom Waits. Everybody in that movie I love.
It was a small movie, just making over $250,000 at the box office. Pullman would continue to stay busy, appearing in 2 other movies in 1990, Sibling Rivalry, a screwball comedy directed by Carl Reiner and co-starring...
Kirstie Alley, Sam Elliott, Jamie Gertz, Carrie Fisher, Scott Bakula, Francis Sternhagen, John Randolph, and Ed O'Neill.
Pullman was second billed just below Kirstie Alley.
It wasn't very funny.
It's really sad because it's a great cast.
It's an amazing cast, but unfortunately...
poor Carl Reiner. He's so hit and miss.
Unfortunately, he is. But he does best when he's with Steve Martin.
Yeah.
And they're doing Goof.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you always got to give him due for the Dick Van Dyke Show, which was
yeah. I mean, no, he's a brilliant director. I just as he
older, it was very hit or miss.
It was like Okay.
And this was a miss.
The movie made just more than its budget in box office and was savaged by the critics.
It was not good.
Yeah. Bright Angel, he was also in, starring Dermot Mulroney and Lily Taylor, with supporting work from
Mary Kay Place, Burt Young, Sam Shepard, Benjamin Bratt, Delroy Lindo, and Will Patton.
It was critically lauded, but only made around $158,000 at the box office.
Don't remember this one.
I don't either. Pullman would get his next top billing the following year in Going Under, a comedy about a U.S. submarine trying to get to a nuclear warhead before a Soviet submarine.
You really, really should have put the word comedy in quotes.
It also featured
Wendy Shaw, Chris Demetral, Tyrone Grandison-Jones, Dennis Redfield, Lou Richards, Ernie Sabella, L. Marie Wendell, Ned Beatty, Robert Vaughn, Richard Mazur, Joe Namath, Michael Winslow, Dean Cain, and Roddy McDowell.
It would appear that this is another movie that was the victim of a fall of the USSR, as the movie was never theatrically released but went straight to VHS.
It was a fall for being a horrible
also
movie.
Wasn't a good movie.
No, what a good cast, though.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part. I'm sure that Roddy McDowell, and it was one of his earliest movies.
Michael Winslow, he was making all the...
He was literally the live sound effects. Yeah. For the following 3 years, Pullman would be relegated to a supporting actor in some bigger projects. This is after Brain Dead.
Right. We're just going through because this is
it. This is our last chance to talk about. We're never talking about Bill Pullman ever again.
We're doing another month.
A Bill Pullman 2 month?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. We got to cover his mids and then his ends.
Okay.
I love Bill Pullman.
I know I do too. In 1982, he appeared in Newsies, A League of Their Own, and Singles.
Wasn't he like the damaged husband that came back from the war? In League of Their Own?
Yeah. He was
Gina
the
Davis's?
lead. Yeah, her husband.
Right.
Yeah, and he didn't have a huge part in it, but he was really kind of an asshole to her at the beginning, and then but he had some PTSD and stuff, and
it was good. It was good.
Yeah, I love that movie. It was a great movie.
Everybody loves that movie. Hey, we crapped on Madonna in one of the recent shows, the Ruthless People show. We got to give her props.
Yeah, she was great. She was great in this. She was really good.
She needs to be with a lot of other talented people.
Well, broken clock, right twice a day.
Damn.
In 1993, he was in Summersby, Sleepless in Seattle, and Malice.
Yeah.
In 1994, he acted in The Favor, Wyatt Earp, and The Last Seduction.
Sure.
All just, I think Wyatt Earp was an okay movie.
I saw both. I prefer Tombstone just because it's goofy and fun.
It's more fun action.
Yeah. Wyatt Earp was one of the most laborious times I've ever spent in a theater. It's Kevin Costner's 4-hour epic that has absolutely zero fun. It is one of the least fun movies I've ever seen.
Precisely why I want to watch the Horizon New Frontier movie or whatever the hell it is.
And also,
Part 1.
I'm sorry, but Dennis Quaid was not good as... Yeah. He lost a lot of weight, I'll give him that. But, Val Kilmer kicked his butt.
Yeah, well, yeah. In 1995, Pullman finally got his name on a poster again in While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, that kind of rekindled his career a bit.
It did. The romantic comedy made over $182 million from a $17 million budget, and Pullman was finally bankable again.
Boom, baby! I'm in the bank!
That same year, he also appeared in the family-friendly movie Casper with Christina Ricci.
I lended the effects for that, and they used to do the greatest rap parties ever. And I think that productions paid for them. Yeah. But I remember, and I would go up to San Francisco for the parties, because, that's where ILM was. And the Casper party was at the Fillmore, and they had, fortune tellers, swords. Wow. It was just the coolest party. Cool. You could go around and get your fortune told, or, meet with ghost hunters. It was very, very fun.
Cool.
It was really fun. And that's the first time I met George Lucas. I went up to him. I shouldn't have. And I said, and I just started working for him. And I was like, "Hi, I'm Jim. I just wanted to say hi. Thank you. I really like working for you." And he kind of went,
And he was, "Why are you talking to me?"
Okay. Okay, welcome.
How dare you speak to me?
But subsequent conversations we got to be a lot more friendly. But that was the first.
1996 was a tale of two polar opposites, with Pullman appearing in Ellen DeGeneres' feature film debut, Mr. Wrong, which was critically panned and a box office bomb.
Never in the history of cinema has there been a more prophetically correct title than a Mr. Wrong.
Yeah.
And my God, have you seen that movie?
Oh, yeah.
The lack of chemistry between the two of those.
Well, yeah, no man's ever going to have chemistry with Ellen DeGeneres.
That's not true. You could. There was guys on the Ellen show that had chemistry with her.
I'm not saying because she's gay. I'm saying because she's a terrible actor.
Okay, touche.
There's a reason that she was only in one feature film, and it was Mr. Wrong.
Yes, just like Jay Leno in Collision Course or whatever. Yeah, she was horrible. But I did like her Ellen show.
So the critics said,
a mean-spirited joke without a punchline. Mr. Wrong is so painfully unfunny that Ellen DeGeneres and Bill Pullman's lack of chemistry feels like a total drag despite being the point.
Yeah. I mean, it's awful. It was awful. It was just awful.
They did not know what to do with Ellen.
No, until she finally got her talk show.
Well, her sitcom was pretty good. And then,
that's true.
I enjoyed her sitcom. And then, and look.
But she really she was shining in Ellen.
Sure, but I will say, her coming out on TV was super brave at the time. That was. I will always give her props.
True. It's just too bad that she is a horrible human being.
Yes.
I knew people that worked on her show, and I don't know how many times they would talk about how they went home crying because she was so effing mean.
That's so the queen of nice.
Yeah, so mean to everybody all the time.
Awful. How can you do? I
think that was the best acting she ever did was on Ellen.
Yeah,
convincing the world that she was a nice person. Ugh. Oh, I don't like Ellen DeGeneres. Okay, sorry.
Wait, do you like Ellen?
I like Mr. Wrong.
That's your favorite movie.
But the complete polar opposite of Mr. Wrong was Independence Day, which made an insane amount of money and made Bill Pullman quotable.
Today is our Independence Day.
Make sure to catch our Independence Day episode for more on that movie.
Oh, yeah. We cover it deep, baby.
Oh, deep cover. More recently, Pullman starred as a police detective in 4 seasons of The Sinner, with each season focusing on a different season-long crime case.
I still got to watch the last season of that, but I loved the first 3 seasons.
Yeah. It looks really good. I need to watch it. It's one of those.
It's his tour de force. I mean, it's his grand performance.
Everything he's done has built up to that show.
Yeah, and it really, the way he portrays trauma, it's such a complex, deep character, and he nails it. And
nice.
I totally forgot about it, and I'm glad that we did this, because now I'll finish the show.
Yeah. He can most recently be seen in an episode of This Fool on FX and Murdaugh Murders, the movie, playing Alex Murdaugh.
Gotta watch that.
We've talked about this before. I think we talked about it during Independence Day. I am so oversaturated with the Murdaugh stuff. It seemed like all of a sudden there was one documentary, and then there were 50 movies and 20 documentaries, and it was all right.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story about power and corruption and murder.
I think also it's because I did watch the earliest documentary that came out, and he hadn't even gone to trial yet.
Yeah, me too.
And so I was it ended, and I was like, really? That's it? There's nothing?
Yeah. But I think I want to at least check it out a bit before the stepdad show, just to see his performance.
I wouldn't mind seeing him. He's going to be good in it. Yeah. Because it's a horribly flawed person. So
oh my God, really? He killed his wife and kid.
Well, yeah. So they cast Bill Paxton as Jim Reston.
We're screwed. You're Steve, but what?
At the age of 8, Paxton was in the crowd when President John F. Kennedy emerged from the Hotel Texas in Fort Worth on the morning of his assassination on November 22nd, 1963.
And he shot him. It was Paxton. He
shot him with his eyes, his look.
I'm just saying, Bill Paxton.
There's actually photographs of Paxton being lifted above the crowd, and they're on display at the 6th floor museum at Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, so we could get the shot at him.
Yeah.
He was above everybody, and he shot him.
It's not. You can find the picture online. He's a super fat baby. Although he's 6, but
come on.
It's just he's cute, but it's
That's crazy though. That is crazy.
It's just weird. Yeah. While at Richmond College in London, Paxton and his childhood friend who was attending school with him met fellow Texas native Tom Huckabee, with whom they made Super 8 short films for which they built their own sets.
That's like me as a kid.
Yeah. Paxton subsequently moved to Los Angeles, where he worked on props and art departments and as a parking valet at the Beverly Hills Hotel.
There's no other actor that looks like he should be working in the props department.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's so funny.
Paxton looks like every crew member I have ever worked with on every film.
Yes. Paxton was interested in directing and actually directed and appeared in the music video for Fish Heads, the weird novelty song by Barnes and Barnes.
Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads.
Yeah. Fish heads, eat them up, yum. The video I watched, it is so effing weird.
Oh my God, my sister used to sing that song all the time.
It actually aired on SNL in November of 1980 during the disaster of the first season without Lorne Michaels.
Yeah, that was a big staple on Dr. Demento.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love Dr. Demento. A good friend of mine, Chris, when I was growing up, I was friends with all the brothers, and the older brother, Chris, was so obsessed with Dr. Demento.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
And it was so great. We did a music video for Star Trekkin'. Oh, nice. Doing like things, us popping out of the hallways, like in different, cutting it and like
cool.
It was done. It was fun. I say it was done well. It was done well for us being like 10.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Yeah.
Dr. Demento.
Yeah, I love Dr. Demento.
You know who? Ray Milson did a really great job playing Dr. Demento.
In the Weird Al story. Mm-hmm. He was so good at that. Yeah.
It's a very fun movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
So after being rejected by film schools in Southern California, Paxton switched his ambitions from directing to acting.
Forget you, film school. I'm going to be an
actor. Among Paxton's earliest roles were a minor role as a soldier in Stripes in 1981.
Yeah.
A minor role in Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker in 1981.
Okay.
Which I've never heard of, but is the best title I've ever heard of for a movie.
It would make a great double feature with Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Very different movies.
But it'd just be fun to be like, do you want to come watch Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy? And
Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker?
We're doing it.
So good. He was also played a mortuary assistant in the movie Mortuary in 1983.
Okay. I did see that. I don't remember it.
I don't remember it at all. His first lead role was in his buddy Tom Huckabee's experimental film Taking Tiger Mountain.
Okay.
It was a weird experimental movie that I tried to find and I couldn't find it.
All right.
He had a minor role as a punk in The Terminator in 1984.
I'm going to need your shoes, your boots, and your leather jacket.
He's so good in that.
You're going to try and whatever,
man. He had a minor role as a bartender in Streets of Fire, also in 1984.
With Michael Pare.
Oh.
Streets of Fire. We're covering that movie. Ugh.
He had a supporting role as the lead protagonist bullying older brother Chet Donnelly in John Hughes' Weird Science in 1985.
That is where most everybody...
That is where I knew him from
learned
first. Yes.
of. And what a blessing and a curse for him.
Oh my God, he was so good in that movie.
Nailed it. Better than it was the best. I love Weird Science.
So good. It is so good.
Possibly my favorite John Hughes movie because it hit me at that moment of time in my life where it was perfect for me.
Yeah.
And oh my God, Chet. Oh my God. Hey Grampy.
I identified way too much with the two leads.
Yeah.
I was just that nerdy kid that was like, I would try to make a woman.
Did your older brother bully you like Chet?
Not really. Not that much. I mean, we would get in fights and stuff, but not to the point of Chet. Yeah. Not enough where I wished he would turn into a giant pile of shit.
You're stewed, buttwad.
You're stewed, buttwad. Oh, God, it was so good.
A greasy pork sandwich served in a dirty ashtray.
It was so good. God.
I got to watch that. I want to watch it now.
He also had a minor role in Commando, also in 1985 with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Was he the guy that Arnold held by the leg and dropped?
Maybe. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen Commando.
Yeah. He was in Commando. Yeah, Commando.
With Radon Chong.
Yes. I think he was the guy that he dropped. I don't know. Maybe not.
He was also played Private William Hudson in Aliens in 1986.
Oh, God.
Game over, man.
It's game over, man. We're screwed. Such a great role. I mean, so good. He played... That's the thing. Again, like, talking about Pullman playing a dummy.
Yeah.
Paxton played an idiot or a jerk so well.
Yeah.
With Weird Science and with Aliens that, like, people just believe that's who he was.
Yeah.
And for years and years and years, that's all he got was the jerk roles. And then he broke out of it, and people were like, Jesus, he's a good actor.
Oh, yeah. He's so talented.
Oh, my God.
So talented. In 1987, he'd appear in Near Dark, a cult neo-Western vampire movie directed by Catherine Bigelow.
That's a fun one.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Me too, but I remember really enjoying it.
Yeah.
We'll cover it.
Yeah. In 1988, Paxton had another lead role with Pass the Ammo, a comedy about televangelists co-starring Annie Potts, Linda Kozlowski, and Tim Curry.
Okay, sounds familiar.
Yeah. 1990 saw, along with Brain Dead, the release of Predator 2.
Oh, baby. Listen to our Predator 2 episode. I love that movie.
Giant coats.
And the hats.
Sweaty. Always sweaty.
Paxton, that is L.A. now. They were right about that.
I know. Paxton would have a long, fun career going back to directing with Frailty in 2001.
If you have not seen Frailty, it is a masterpiece.
So good.
Him and Matthew McConaughey. Oh, God. It was
so good.
It's such a compelling movie about a father who is losing his mind
and
his two sons who are dealing with it, and they're isolated, so it's not like they can really go anywhere.
Right.
And they, and the one kid totally believes the father's delusions, and the other one's just like, I don't know if this is true.
Right.
Oh, my God.
It's so good.
I think his dad's like a serial killer or something.
Yeah, I think they imply that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like...
Gotta watch it again.
It's been a long time, but it's so good.
If you haven't seen it, it's really an excellent film.
Done so well. From 2006 to 2011, he would appear in 56 episodes of HBO's Big Love about Mormon polygamy.
And that's when people really started to see what an amazing actor he was.
Just how good he was.
Such a complex role. And he was a bigamist. He had 3 wives.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a goofy, comedy, like, here's my wife.
No, it was definitely not a comedy.
Not at all. But he was really excellent in it. It was such a complex character. And and an issue that could have been easily portrayed as salacious or silly or whatever. And Big Love is a really great show.
It's a good show. Yeah. His last role will be playing the lead in Training Day, the TV follow-up to the 2001 movie. I don't know if you remember that at all.
Yeah.
On February 14th, 2017, Paxton underwent surgery to fix an aortic aneurysm. It did not go well, requiring emergency surgery the next day. 10 days later, on February 25th, Paxton died in the hospital from a stroke at the age of 61.
That gutted me, man.
Yeah, I tell you, man, every time we cover Bill Paxton, it all comes back, and I'm sad all over again.
Me too, and every time I see him, like when I saw him on screen, I was just like, it just immediately made me sad. And then happy to see him, but
he's great, but it's just sad, because there's so much more.
Yeah, and I just want to add, I know we've talked about it before, but if you're looking for a really amazing Bill Paxton movie, check out A Simple Plan.
Oh, yeah.
By Sam Raimi directed it, and Billy Bob Thornton.
The novel's fantastic. It's from the same guy that wrote The Ruins, Scott Smith, I think.
And an incredible adaptation. One of the best adaptations of the book. Yeah.
So good.
Check that out.
James Cameron wrote about Paxton and Vanity Fair, detailing their 36-year friendship and expressing regret over the projects they would not be able to make together. In August 2022, Paxton's family would finally settle a wrongful death lawsuit for an undisclosed sum. He literally should not have died.
No.
The doctor botched the surgery on his heart.
It happens.
Essentially killed him.
Yeah, same thing happened to Joan Rivers. Went in for,
some surgery. And
it's a lot of times it's the anesthesia, man.
Yeah.
It'll get you. It's being an anesthesiologist. Everybody's like, you just got to give them the gas. It's like, no, man.
No, because you give them too much gas, they die.
And the older you get, the most critical, crucial, and dangerous part of an operation is going in and coming out.
Yeah.
Going under and coming out.
Yeah.
And, man, I hope they got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because the guy had another 30 years to go.
Of amazing he still had a long career.
Undoubtedly.
So they cast Bud Cort as Jack Halsey.
I effing love me some Bud Cort.
So good. Cort was discovered in an acting review by Robert Altman. So all you actors out there, whenever you go to the acting reviews, make sure that Robert Altman is in the theater.
Dig his ass up, put him in a chair.
In 1970, Bud Cort appeared in 4 movies. He had a supporting role in MASH, his first credited feature, directed by Robert Altman.
Such a great movie.
Supporting role in The Strawberry Statement about the Columbia University protests of 1968.
Okay, I never saw it.
Supporting role in The Traveling Executioner, starring Stacy Keach.
I have seen that. I cannot tell you what it's about.
It was Stacy Keach is an executioner that goes around.
Who travels?
Yeah, well, in the South, like they never hired on like people because there wouldn't be enough money. So it was literally just you were like a traveling salesman, except you killed people,
going to prisons and pulling the lever.
Yeah. And his first lead role, playing the eponymous Brewster McCloud in the black comedy Brewster McCloud, also directed by Robert Altman. I don't know why I'd never heard of this movie before. The movie's about a young recluse who lives in a fallout shelter under the Houston Astrodome, where he is building a pair of wings in order to fly, and soon becomes the chief suspect in a series of bird-related murders.
Dude, it is crazy.
That sounds bananas.
It is great. We have to do an Altman month, and it's going to be tough to pick the movies, but we may have to pick a four.
I don't know why I've never heard of this. I love Robert Altman. The film was originally called Brewster McCloud's Sexy Flying Machine.
I love Altman. And don't get that confused with Brewster's Millions, starring Richard Pryor and John Candy.
It was also Shelley Duvall's first feature film. She was discovered in Texas just before shooting.
Nice.
1971 saw Cort in a supporting role in Gas, or It Became Necessary to Destroy the World in Order to Save It, a post-apocalyptic dark comedy directed by Roger Corman.
Yeah.
This is one of the movies that is not available on YouTube, and it makes me sad.
It is.
Because it's technically Gas.
Yeah, I've seen this. And it's like, it was his kind of like counterculture subversion movie. Yeah. But it's wacky. It's fun. I mean, we used to, when I had the Corman internship, the first half was in the office, and then the second half was in a movie.
Oh, nice.
Working on a set. And so the first half, we would always grab either submitted stuff and watch people's short films and stuff during lunch and just laugh at them or whatever. And we saw some really interesting things too.
Oh, yeah.
Or we would just go into the archives and grab an old Corman movie and pop that in and just saw some of the greatest stuff. And he would come by sometime and he would walk by the room and be like, oh, so you guys are watching this. I remember. He would like tell a little story. It was so great.
Yeah. 1971 also saw Cort's most well-known performance as the suicide-obsessed Harold in Harold and Maude, co-starring Ruth Gordon and directed by Hal Ashby.
I adore this movie. It's
so good.
It is such a weird movie. It freaked people out because it's a little baby Bud Cort in love with old Ruth Gordon.
Yeah.
It had some of the greatest shots. And the performance by Bud Cort, his character is clinically depressed.
Yes.
His character is doom and gloom. He's a little rich boy, and one of my favorite scenes is he gets this jazzy little Jaguar sports car, and then he takes it and has it converted into a Jaguar hearse. And it was like, as soon as I'm in this movie. Yep. And Ruth Gordon is such an amazing actor, and the chemistry between these two was palpable. It was such a weird anomaly, incredible little movie that could not be made before or since. It's just one of those blips, and it happened, and it's great.
Yeah. In 1979, Cort nearly died in a car accident on the Hollywood freeway where he collided with an abandoned car blocking a lane into which he was turning.
Jesus.
He broke an arm and a leg and sustained a concussion and a fractured skull.
Oh, God.
His face was severely lacerated and his lower lip nearly severed off. The accident resulted in plastic surgeries, substantial hospital bills, a lost court case, and this disruption of his career.
Yeah, Jesus. That's what happened.
Awful. Yeah. He has since appeared in a number of film, stage, and TV roles, including
Endgame, Sledgehammer, The Chocolate War, The Big Empty, Theodore Rex, Dogma, But I'm a Cheerleader, Pollock, The Twilight Zone, The Secret Diary of Sigmund Freud, and The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. The Chocolate War is such a good movie. It is a great short story. Have you ever read that short story?
No.
We read it in English class. It was really weird. There was this period of time where it seemed like every short story I was reading was being adapted into a movie, whether it was Battle Royale or The Stone Boy or The Chocolate War. And I don't remember if The Chocolate War was a good adaptation, but it's a really interesting short story if you haven't read it.
All right. Like a lot of actors, he's turned to voiceover work, most notably as Toyman, a Superman villain, over the course of various DCAU series, including Superman the Animated Series, Static Shock, and Justice League Unlimited.
Also, I think we should give out a shout-out to Theodore Rex.
Yeah.
That was the Whoopi Goldberg one, right?
About the
dinosaurs.
He hasn't had a credited role since 2016, but he's still out there at the age of 76 waiting for some new parts.
Come on, hire him. He's great.
He's great.
Now we could do you know what they should do?
Theodore Rex 2?
Well, yes, 100%. Because with the effects now, they could do what they couldn't do back then. Yeah. No, but they should make a Harold and Maude remake and make him the old guy and get some young person.
Yeah, that might be creepy.
If it was a young guy, maybe it would work.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that could work. Nicholas Pryor as Man in Bloody White Suit, Ramson and Ed Conklin. In 1964, Pryor was an original cast member of the new soap opera Another World, playing Tom Baxter until the character was killed off after 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's life in the soaps, baby.
I know.
I'm going into a coma. That was like the best, though. If a guy was like, because they're not writing you off. And they're like, so I get to just lay in bed.
You're just going to lay here for 8 hours every day.
So keep me in the coma. Am I still in the coma?
Notable roles include appearing alongside William Holden and Lee Grant in Damien, Omen 2 in 1978.
Yeah.
Not a good movie.
Nope.
As one of the sick passengers in Airplane in 1980.
Yes, I totally... He was the one, too, that was like, I'll have a second cup of coffee. And she's like... It was the parody of the commercial. Well, John never asked for a second cup of coffee at home.
Yeah, the thoughts in the head, What is going on? I wonder if he's cheating on me. Yeah. He also appeared as Tom Cruise's father in Risky Business in 1983.
Yep.
Very small part, but he was in it.
Yeah.
And as Robert Downey Jr.'s estranged father in Less Than Zero in 1987.
That was not a good movie, not a good adaptation of a great book, but his performance was really solid.
Yeah. Pryor's most notable television role was that of A. Milton Arnold, the Chancellor of California University, in the television series Beverly Hills 90210 from 1994 to 1997.
All right. Well, I never watched that show.
I never did either. Did not care.
I missed that train.
It was about the time when it was like, hey, there's rich kids and they have problems, and I didn't care.
That was a rich kid with problems of my own.
I didn't care.
No, this wasn't nice.
His most recent role was as the coroner in 2021's Halloween Kills.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
He, like Bud Cort, is also sitting around waiting for a new role at the age of 89.
Come on, hire them both. Let's do.
He's so good.
Let's do. We'll do a stage version of Grumpy Old Men, and we'll get those two guys.
Bud Cort and Nicholas Pryor. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, it would. We're doing it. Let's get the Pantages.
I loved him in this when he showed up. At first, he just shows up in the room or whatever, and it's like, oh wow. And then I was like, oh, it's gonna be like he's appears that one time. No, he was in like every scene after that.
Holding the thing. It's like what I loved about it. It was holding the ice pick, but he was holding his hand under it because he was worried that it would drip blood.
Yeah,
he was very conscientious.
He was covered in blood,
even though blood was everywhere. His performance was really fun because he not only played the killer, but he also played the doctor.
Yeah. This is another good example of why this movie is so good because everybody plays multiple parts.
Oh yeah.
Like they're the quote unquote same person, but they're not, and like it allows such range from each of the actors.
I can totally understand why everybody wanted to do this because everybody in this movie has a moment.
Yes.
And it's usually a pretty juicy moment.
Oh yeah. So Patricia Charbonneau was cast as Dana Martin.
I love that name.
Bill Pullman's wife.
Charbonneau.
Patricia, the youngest of 10 children, graduated in 1977 from Valley Stream Central High School, where she attended with fellow actors Steve Buscemi and Steve Heitner, most well known as Kenny Banya on Seinfeld.
Banya.
Yeah.
Come on, Jerry. We're going to Mandy's, Jerry. I'll take you to Mandy's.
So obnoxiously annoying, but he does it so well.
Come on, Jerry. Soup is not a meal, Jerry. It's not a meal.
In 1985, Charbonneau made her film debut in Donna Deitch's film Desert Hearts, at a time when it was still considered a risk to portray a lesbian in a romantic drama, complete with a lengthy love scene.
Yeah, look, anytime any straight character played gay or lesbian, it was a huge risk to their career. And a lot of careers never recovered because America was extremely effing homophobic back then, and it's insane.
2 days before shooting began, she found out that she was pregnant with her first child, whom she has called her Desert Hearts baby.
Yeah, I bet you the kid loves that.
Hey, do you want to watch this movie when you're inside my belly?
You see when I'm having this very explicit lesbian scene? You're in there. It's almost like a threesome.
You're in there.
Remember when you had a threesome with Mommy?
For her performance in Desert Hearts, Charbonneau was nominated for an Independent Spirit Award for Best Female Lead.
Right on. I remember that movie.
I've never seen it.
It was good. It was really good. She was great.
In the following year, she appeared in Michael Mann's Manhunter, based on the novel Red Dragon.
One of my favorite movies of all time. William Peterson is ridiculous in it. And Brian Cox is Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, he's so good.
Oh, he rips, man. And it is just... Michael Mann nailed it.
Yeah.
It is so good. If you like Hannibal Lecter, if you like Michael Mann, if you love the 80s, you're going to love this movie.
Manhunter's amazing.
And not to mention, from The Last Action Hero, Tom Noonan plays the Tooth Fairy, the killer. It is such an amazing
He's so good. It's good. The whole movie's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
What do you see? What do you see?
In 1988, Charbonneau played Anna, the lead in Call Me, which also featured Steve Buscemi.
Nice.
The same year, she was featured in the crime drama action movie Shakedown, starring Peter Weller and Sam Elliott, which actually looks like a really fun movie.
It is a really fun movie.
Yeah. TV work includes
HBO's Tales from the Crypt, Crime Story, The Equalizer, Wise Guy, Murder, She Wrote, Matlock, New York Undercover, Law & Order, Criminal Intent, Law & Order Special Victims Unit.
In the 1990 film RoboCop 2, she played the role of Linda Garcia. Despite the character's, this is just weird, and I don't know why I included this. Despite the character's prominence in the movie's plot, her name is never spoken and the role is not listed in the credits.
Weird.
But weird obsessive fans were able to determine the character's name by noticing that she wore a name tag.
Great. My God, people have so much time on their hands.
The internet is good for something.
I wish I had that kind of time.
In 1995, she starred in Mission Critical, a Legend Entertainment sci-fi adventure game.
Cool.
Yeah. She played one of James Garner's daughters in the 1999 CBS made-for-TV film One Special Night, which featured Julie Andrews.
Ooh.
In March 2007, Charbonneau joined the faculty of the Hudson Valley Academy of Performing Arts in West Toganic, New York, where she teaches an acting workshop for children and teens.
Excellent. She's
effectively retired from acting, but continues to teach at the age of 65.
Yeah, good for her. She was a very solid actor, and I'm sure she has a lot of great things to teach these kids.
Oh, yeah. George Kennedy was cast as Vance, one of the board members.
Oh, I love George Kennedy.
Kennedy's so good. The second he starts talking, I just want to, melt.
Yeah, his voice is just like... He's just got that voice.
It's just the timbre about it. I know there's something about
Hello, everybody. Yeah, it's just it's so reassuring.
Yes.
I wish he was my dad.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. Everything's fine. Oh, God.
Kennedy has appeared in over 100 movies and TV shows. He was the only actor to appear in all 4 films of the Airport series, reprising the role of Joe Petroni 3 times.
Yeah, Joe Petroni, the mechanic.
Listen to our early Airport episode for more on the fantastic disaster film, which also includes Earthquake, which Kennedy appeared in.
Yep.
It was one of our early immersive episodes. Yeah, you should totally check it out.
It's really weird.
It's super weird, but it's so great. He also played Police Captain Ed Hawken in the Naked Gun series of comedy films with Leslie Nielsen.
He nailed that.
So good.
Oh, my God.
So good. Just another one of those where it's like you bring in a serious actor to play the comedy.
Well, he's just such a pro. I mean, the guy could do anything. Anything.
He also played corrupt oil tycoon Carter McKay in the original Dallas television series. He played Dragline in Cool Hand Luke in 1967, winning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for the role.
Yeah, he was absolutely incredible in that. I was like, wasn't he like his best buddy?
Yeah. He was like the little sidekick guy. Yeah.
So likable, and I think he ended up getting killed.
I believe he got killed.
We got to watch that movie soon.
It's been long, Among other films he had a significant role in are
Lonely Are the Brave, Charade, Straight Jacket, McHale's Navy, Hush Hush, Sweet Charlotte, Mirage, Shenandoah, The Sons of Katie Elder, The Flight of the Phoenix, In Harm's Way, The Dirty Dozen, The Boston Strangler, Guns of the Magnificent Seven, Tick, 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 K-Hell, U.S. Marshal, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, The Good Guys and the Bad Guys, The Eiger Sanction, and The Delta Force. Every one of those movies is awesome.
Yeah.
Almost everyone.
Some are better than others, but they're all fun. Like, he had such a great career.
Yeah, and he did really... He was so good in ensemble pieces.
Yeah.
Like The Dirty Dozen or The Sons of Katie Elder. Or, it's just like he was he always just was there. It's like, oh, there's George Kennedy.
Yeah. He just show up again. It's
and we're always happy to see him.
It became actually law for a while that George Kennedy had to be in your movie in the late 70s.
Yeah, 3 directors are still in jail today for not having him.
They didn't do it. His last film was The Gambler in 2014, based on the 1974 film The Gambler, which was based on the Dostoevsky novel of the same name.
Not based on the song by...
No. Nothing to do with...
You gotta know.
Yes, nothing to do with that. Woo! This one starred Mark Wahlberg, John Goodman, and Brie Larson.
Sure. Hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah. Kennedy died on the morning of February 28th, 2016 of a heart ailment at an assisted living facility in Middleton, Ohio, Idaho, 10 days after his 91st birthday.
I hate it when they die in an assisted living home. I hate it. It just is like when they get cancer or whatever at 90.
Yeah, it's not. It's like, come on, man. They've made it this far. Don't do that.
The indignity of getting old and dying is just something we need to work on.
I know. We need some Zardoz magic.
Yeah, we do. Zardoz.
Lee Ehrenberg was cast as Sax, which I don't know how they knew his name. He was just the homeless guy. Ehrenberg... Sax.
Because he carried a lot of sacks out.
You're right, he did. That makes sense now that you say that. He carried a lot of sacks.
He did.
Ehrenberg is best known for his role as Pintel, one of Captain Barbossa's crew in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Ehrenberg also guest starred on Star Trek The Next Generation, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Voyager, and Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh, he's a Trekkie!
Yeah. Ehrenberg also played the recurring role of bookie Mike Moffat in 2 episodes of Seinfeld.
He broke my thumbs!
In the parking space, he and George Costanza had a parking dispute, while in the Susie, his thumbs were accidentally broken while trying to repair Jerry Seinfeld's car trunk.
Yeah, he's
so funny.
He's really funny. He's just this tiny ball of energy.
He yells all his lines.
All the time. It'd be funny if you met him in real life and he's just very calm and quiet. Probably is. But it's a completely over-the-top, horrible performance. But it's great to see him with hair.
Yeah.
I think it's the only role he ever had hair.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually. That's true.
Because he's like, man, that wig is so bad. Yeah. I'm never doing it again.
Lee's first professional job was in 1986 at the Mark Taper Forum in Ghetto, a play directed by Gordon Davidson.
Okay.
Within weeks, he was cast in 3 films, including Cross My Heart in 1987, starring Martin Short and Ned O'Toole.
God, I barely remember that movie.
The Underachievers in 1987, a comedy about adult night school.
I remember that.
And the role of Norton in the feature Tapeheads in 1988, opposite the film's co-stars Tim Robbins and John Cusack.
Yeah, playing another sweaty, yelling little guy.
Listen to our episode on Tapeheads.
Please do. He is the consummate character actor.
Oh, yeah. You know? He's so good.
I love a guy who finds a niche and can ride that niche for 40 years.
Yeah.
That's super impressive.
Yeah. He's being consistently cast and things. It's great.
Yeah.
Great.
And always doing a solid job.
Yeah. Ehrenberg.
Except maybe in this.
Well, he did what he could with this.
He did.
Ehrenberg can most recently be seen in 1066, a historical drama about conquering England and winning the throne.
Where he plays a sweaty little guy who yells a lot in an English accent.
Some featured actors that may look familiar in Brain Dead. Brent Hinckley is Dewey. Hinckley is a character actor that has appeared in dozens of movies and TV shows, including...
Scarecrow and Mrs. King. Scarecrow and Mrs. King, Knots Landing, Highway to Heaven, Night Court, 21 Jump Street, Jacob's Ladder, Mom and Dad Save the World, Bob Roberts, Honeymoon in Vegas, Falling Down, The X-Files, Ed Wood, Chicago Hope, Married with Children, Coach, Seinfeld, Just Shoot Me, The West Wing, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
He's still out there working. He's one of those guys, you see his face and you're like, yep.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
him. That's him. Willie Garson was cast as a board member. Garson has appeared in hundreds of projects, including
81 episodes of White Collar, 27 episodes of Sex and the City, 7 episodes of NYPD Blue, There's Something About Mary, Mars Attacks, Kingpin, The Rock, Groundhog Day, 3 episodes of Quantum Leap, Soap Dish, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, and 2 episodes of New Heart.
Willie Garson is, again, and also another one of those characters. You see him and you're like, oh yeah, it's that guy.
Yeah. He's always just kind of playing the friend. He was the friend in Something About Mary. He was the friend in Sex and the City.
But a huge, long career. Like, the man works constantly.
He's great. He's got this impish quality to him that makes him super watchable and super fun. He was hilarious in Something About Mary.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He always nails the part, big or small, whatever he's in. He's just a great character actor.
John Paxton was also cast as a board member. Paxton, the name might sound familiar because he's the father of Bill Paxton.
Hey, Bill, you can be in the movie, but only if I'm in the movie. Dad, that's the rules.
Funny enough, it was his first movie, and it wasn't until he was 70.
Yeah, that's going to be me.
He started acting at 70.
Like, I'm going to hit my stride at 68.
He also appeared in Barbed Wire in 1996, A Simple Plan in 1998, Frailty in 2001, Spider-Man in 2001, Spider-Man 2 in 2004, and Spider-Man 3 in 2007.
So every Sam Raimi film.
Anything involved with Sam Raimi or Bill Paxton, he was involved. He unfortunately passed away in November of 2011 at the age of 91.
Oh, well, it's a good
He had a long role. Yeah, long run. Deirdre O'Connell was cast as Mrs. Halsey. O'Connell made her feature film debut in Tin Men from Barry Levinson, starring Richard Dreyfuss and Danny DeVito.
Richard Dreyfuss! Oh, such a great movie.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Part of the Bagel trilogy.
Yes.
That is Avalon and one of my favorite movies of all time.
Diner,
Avalon, and Tin Men. That's the Bagel trilogy.
She's had a long career and is probably most well known for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Secondhand Lions, and Outer Range, the new show with Josh Brolin.
Good show. And Secondhand Lions is a really good movie.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
That was the little dead boy.
Joel Haley Osment?
Haley Joel Osment.
Haley Joel Osment? Is that who you're talking about?
Well, it had Haley Joel Osment.
Because he's not dead.
I know. He was dead. I was thinking of I See Dead People.
Yeah.
Haley Joel Osment, Michael Caine, and Robert Duvall. It is such a great... I watched that.
Yeah.
I was like, weird. But I ended up watching that with my folks in Texas.
Oh,
and we all just loved it.
Nice. She just won a Tony Award for Best Actor in the play Dana H.
Great.
Yeah, she's still out there. She's still working. She does actually more Broadway now. She does anything else.
Well, that makes me happy.
Speaking of anesthetists, Kyle Gass was actually cast as an anesthetist in the film.
Because his last name is Gass?
I don't think that you actually see his face in the movie.
No, you don't.
I believe that he's covered the whole time.
I do too.
But yes, it is that Kyle Gass from Tenacious D with Jack Black.
We only knew this because the name was in the credits.
Yeah,
and we're like,
both of us were like, what?
And they were like, no, it can't be. And I was like, well, wait, he's old. He definitely could be.
Well, now, okay, there's reasons. Brain Dead was his feature film debut. That same year, he also appeared in Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, right.
He may have appeared in Jacob's Ladder and Brain Dead because he was a member of the Actors Gang.
Yes, and so was Black, right?
Jack Black was too. That's how they met and formed Tenacious D.
Nice.
They were initially not friendly, as Gass was the main musician for the Actors Gang and...
felt threatened by Black.
The Actors Gang traveled to Scotland for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in 1989 to perform Tim Robbins and Adam Simon's play Carnage. The two became friends during the trip and climbed Arthur's Seat on a day off.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's definitely two guys that were going to sniff around each other.
Oh, yeah.
I would have loved to see that friendship evolve.
Yeah.
From a couple of snoots being like, I don't like him.
I want to see a movie about them going to Edinburgh and getting to know each other. I think it'd be great.
Movie. Yeah, we should do it.
So in true Corman style, the movie was shot in 20 days.
That's a long one.
I know. And it also had a $2 million budget.
That's huge.
There were, because they knew the script was good. They wanted the movie to do it justice.
This is like the Marvel movie of Corman spending $2 million. Oh my gosh. Everybody else must have been so jelly.
There were 2 songs from Martini Ranch in the movie. You remember the Martini Ranch. Martini Ranch was a new wave band formed in 1982 and featured 2 members, Andrew Todd Rosenthal and Bill Paxton.
Oh, yeah. Martini Ranch is awesome.
Did not know that was he was in that band.
Bill Paxton is a phenom, my friend.
He's so talented. Between 1982 and 1988, they released 2 EPs and 1 full-length album called Holy Cow.
Yeah, their songs in this movie were not good. But
I actually didn't mind. The one over the credits was fine. But it's totally that weird like mashup of using samples from the movie and stuff. And like I was like, okay. It could have been worse.
Yeah.
But
well, yes.
So the album Holy Cow includes guest appearances from Devo members Bob Casale, Alan Myers, and Mark Mothersbaugh, Cindy Wilson of the B-52s, film composer Mark Isham, and actors Judge Reinhold and Bud Cort.
Yep.
So bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't believe I've never heard this album.
We got to find it. I bet you it's on Spotify.
I'm sure it's on Spotify.
We'll listen to it today. We'll do a link.
Oh, yeah, there you go. The movie was, unfortunately, Brain Dead was not liked by the critics, despite most of them thinking the script was clever.
Yeah.
And technically, it didn't make its budget back.
Okay. Well,
I don't have any numbers for like home video and all that, and I'm sure it probably did make its money back.
Everything eventually makes money for Corman.
Yeah.
I think the only movie that he lost money on was Frankenstein Unleashed.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a big swing and a miss. He was really trying to do like a Hollywood movie.
Bigger
John
budget.
Hurt was in it.
Yeah.
Not a very good movie. But yeah, look, this is kind of a forgotten film. I forgot about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it has a lot of great actors. And really, Pullman and Paxton were so much fun to see together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And to watch them play different characters. When Paxton comes in as like the nurse or whatever with his hair all floppy doppy.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like, I'm just a nerd.
Everyone had such good moments.
Yeah,
like there were. I'm not an actor, but like I can imagine as an actor reading a script and going, "Ooh,
oh yeah,
I get to do like essentially 4 different characters."
Yeah,
like, that's
juicy,
awesome.
Even the smaller characters got to do, had some time to shine. And like we said, this movie had a green director. Let's say a green director.
Oh no, it was his first movie.
Let's say a green cinematographer. I'm going to give that person the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. That was one of their first things too. Because that's the distracting part of it. It's just shot so horribly that that it's confusing, that it's hard to kind of keep up with some of the things that's going on. And granted, story is pretty confusing.
Yeah.
But I will have to say, it sorts itself out. Like it doesn't. It's not meandering. No. It's not confusing for confusing's sake. I would say it's a pretty tight.
No, it keeps you on your toes. Mm-hmm. Like you think you're figuring it out, and then nope. And it does it well. I think it does it better than The Serpent and the Rainbow did.
Yes.
Like I thought Serpent and the Rainbow was fine, but like doing that whole like, is this happening or not happening? Brain did it so much better.
Well, because there's also a goofiness to it that adds to the surreal nature of. Okay, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
That it's basically a brain dying. What we're watching is a brain dying for an hour and a half. And well, we watched it for an hour. We'll watch our phone friend.
I don't know what actually happened at the end.
Yeah. But it's once you get to the conceit, once you get to what it is, then it all makes sense. Yeah. And I almost want to rewatch it knowing the end to kind of look at the clues and stuff.
Yeah.
And I if you're a fan of Bill Pullman or Paxton, if you like
the Twilight Zone,
if you like the Twilight Zone,
100% watch this movie.
Creepy. Look, it's not a horror movie; it's a psychological thriller. Yeah, in a way, or a interdimensional.
It's like psychological thriller, kind of psychological horror. Like I mean, kind of in the vein of like Jacob's Ladder, kind of.
But it doesn't take itself as seriously.
No.
It's not taking itself too seriously, and that's what makes it work. Is everybody is in on the joke, but they're not burning the. They're in on the joke, but they're not bashing the joke into the ground. Right. Right. It's like they're not winking at the camera. Yeah. But they're having fun within the parameters of what the story is about. Yeah. Yeah. And I think everybody understood the assignment and really had a good time. Yeah. And it comes across.
Yeah. I didn't include any of this, but Adam Simon would go on to direct Carnosaur, which is one of the Corman Concord New Horizons most famous awful 90s movies.
Oh, I remember Carnosaur.
It came out in 93. Yeah. It was really bad. After that, he stuck to writing, and he created a couple shows like Salem and a few other things. Like, he's actually a pretty good writer. Sure. Just should not be directing.
No, but look, it's not about him. It's about Bill Pullman.
No, it is.
This is the end of our Bill Pullman. We'll talk a little bit about him on our Stepdad show. Yeah. But I got to say, man, it has been a fun month. And I loved Ruthless People. Strangely enough, I think I enjoyed Serpent and the Rainbow a little more than I did when I was younger because of my Bill Pullman prejudice about it being a dum-dum. Right. But still, not the best movie, but also an incredibly varied performance and such an interesting time capsule of Haiti, that's really why you want to watch it, is because it really captures that piece of history really well. And then this movie where he just is like given free rein, but doesn't chomp the scenery. He's so good. These three early-ish performances of his, we get to see the great actor that comes later on.
Watching these three movies, you get to see his progression and how he keeps learning and he keeps getting better. Yeah. And because I while we were watching Brain Dead, I turned to Jim and I was like, I buy him more as this brain doctor than I did as the pharmaceutical guy in Serpent and the Rainbow. Like, I bought it more, and I don't know if it's necessarily the Serpent and the Rainbow's fault. I just think that maybe he was biting off more than he could chew at that time, and he just got that much better in 3 years.
I also think that the Serpent and the Rainbow was kind of devoid of any humor.
Yeah,
and it was a pretty stiff role that he had to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he did a good job with it, but I don't think that he was given a ton.
No, he definitely shines better when he's able to take it a little more light.
Yeah, and it's these three roles really, because, you know, a lot of people have an idea of Bill Pullman, you know, whether it's Independence Day or Sinner or this, you know, he's a very serious, you know, kind of blah, blah, blah. And you forget that he was a goofball.
Yeah,
such a goony goofball at the beginning. And it's a blast to watch these guys that you've grown up with and you love, to see them having some fun in some B movies.
Yeah, totally.
And really embracing it, man. Not looking like, oh, God, I just need the paycheck. Not looking like William Shatner did in every single Corman movie he did, with just like shame on his face. He really got it. And I'm really psyched that we did a Bill Pullman month, and I'm glad we did these movies because I think if you're a pull head, we'll come up with a better name of that. These are three that you definitely need to see.
Yeah, you should find these. They're not all easy to find, but definitely worth your time.
Yeah, we love Bill Pullman. We love you, Bill. Yeah. And we made it giving you a little bit of ribbon, but it's only because we love you. I will see y'all next week for the Stepdad Show.
Yeah.
And don't let anybody put your brain in a jar. That's your old stepdad's advice for the day.
Yeah, be safe out there.
Meep, meep. We're sorry, Mr. Beaumont. We're sorry, Mr. Beaumont.
I missed that day in doctor school, so I don't know.
Did you call it doctor school? Wendy Shaw, Chris Demetral?
Sure.
Jesus, these are hard names,
I know.
Woo! Wendy Shaw, Chris Demetral, Tyrone Granderson, Jonas? Jesus,
Jones.
age.
Tyrone Granderson Jones.
That's an awesome name, by the way. 7 episodes of
I don't know what that one is.
81 episodes. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, already in progress.